You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
And we are back, halfway done with the Swiss rounds anyways, of this sealed tournament here. 4 rounds down, 4 more to go before we even get to cut to top 8. So round 5 is in front of us here, and we've got a pair of 4-0 contestants ready to go. We've got Clarity up against Nominal, and here to help break down all the action is Man Unmouse.
Yeah, and there's no wonder these guys are 4-0. Nominal's bringing us the full Chalice experience here to the sealed format. He's running a Elysian deck, basically, with a Slide Fire and Shadow Splash, and he's rocking the Chalice all the way throughout. On the other side, we have Clarity, and he's more of an interesting deck, really. He's a Xenon, Felnish beatdown deck. His curve is very low. He's running triple Blood Beetles, multiple Direfang Spiders, Twilight Raptor, Archport, Borderlands Waykeeper card like these. He has a couple of go white cards with Torrent of Spiders, and to make all those little tiny cards viable, he is rocking one of the best relics you can find in the limited format, that is the Xenon Obelisk.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that Xenon Obelisk has shown up a good amount so far, as we said. Clarity sitting at 4-0, as is Nominal, so they've both been finding their bombs and putting them to good use, and I'm sure the rest of their deck's working out well as well. Not only does Nominal have Crystalline Chalice, one of the better cards you could have in limited or really anywhere, also has a Crystallize. That's a real good way to end the game. And as we see in his hand here, a Pillar of Amar ain't too shabby either, although it's going to need some more help in casting it. He's only got 2 Primal Sigils. So hoping to find a Time Sigil, get that Amber Acolyte out and curve out this game. But in the meantime, Clarity's got the play, has a spider, and there it is, Seek Power. Nominal's got to be real happy to see that.
All the sand needed this one time, and then he's going to curve out straight from here on out here. I mean, I have to say, Nominal's deck is solid throughout the stages. He has good fixing, as time usually provides you with. His early, mid, and late game all looking solid, while Clarity is certainly more of a early game oriented deck. His deck basically tops at 4. He has an Aerial Ace, a Jotun Warrior, and a Spirit Drain as the top ends, and 1 Inspire Obedience. That is it. Everything else is 4 or low. So he wants to end this game quickly. That is not a card you really want to draw early on in the game, right? If you want to end the game.
Yeah.
The blind storyteller.
Yeah, Clarity's coming out fast in terms of playing more cards than Nominal, but not applying the pressure that maybe he was hoping to. Just a Direfang Spider, a Borderlands Waykeeper, despite having a 1-drop, a 2-drop, something to do on 3. Nominal's still sitting at 22, with his first play being Amber Acolyte on the draw.
Yeah, that's the problem with the one attack power down here. Jotun Cyclops is certainly a card Clarity is happy to see and play here. That is going to contest the board. Real nice. The problem is, there's most likely Torov coming down here. It's not a great block against the 4-3, but even then, I think I would be fine to just block with Torov here. If you look at Nominal's hand, if he can stabilize the board, he is very likely to win this game.
Yeah, and currently Clarity's still only on Feln Influence, no time yet, so there might be some cards in hand that he can't even cast, although the Blind Storyteller will help sculpt that going forward. But as you said, Nominal just wants to play for the long game. He's got Pillar of Amar. It's unlikely Clarity can ever trump that if Nominal can get to that spot. There's a whole lot of gameplay, card draw, attack steps, and blockers to go before that happens, but he's got a game plan in mind, and that's, I've got a Pillar of Amar in hand.
Yeah. And even if the Pillar of Amar is just going to be used to stall up the ground, he also has Aviasaur and Borderlands Waykeeper to change his attack plan into the sky. And I think I would like to see a block near now. Make him, it's kind of sad. You trade your sweet Torgo for a Jotun Cyclops, but he has a good snowball target anyway, and once again takes the biggest threat off the board here.
Yep, he opts to take the hit, though, instead of going the block that you like. I think I would have blocked as well, especially because Nesting Avisaur is then the biggest unit as a follow-up. It's going to be bigger than Borderlands Waykeeper. Direfang Spider you can handle taking some hits from, but Yeah, he opts to take the hit. Clarity gets rid of a Blood Beetle there, plays out another Sigil, and all right. So we know Clarity still got the Snowball in hand, wants to keep holding on to it so that this 4-3 can keep attacking into the Sport State.
Yeah, I mean, Nominal could maybe decide and play the Aviasaur, use it to trade. But I don't really like that decision. The Spider being on the board puts Torgoff on block duty anyway. So yeah, would really like to see Nominal using the Torgoff to block here and then play Aviasaur, start attacking, start the counter attack here.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that Clarity discarded a Blood Beetle. It's not that weird to think about, like, oh, Blood Beetle's bad at this stage of the game. But as you said, his curve is pretty low. He already discarded his 1/6 drop in Spirit Drain, so the rest of his cards cost 5 or less. So I am surprised that he discarded a Blood Beetle and immediately played a power where, even though Blood Beetle's not great, it might end up being better than any power that Clarity ends up drawing.
He might be holding his Spirit Drain and hoping that if he gets lucky and push enough damage, the Spirit Drain can be the finisher he needs to.
He is not holding his Spirit Drain; it's in his void.
I'm sorry. I mean the Inspire Obedience.
Right, I did miss that. That's a good one. Somehow I missed the Inspire Obedience. So I think you may be right there, where he still wants to have access to that card moving forward.
Yeah, that's also very aggressive use of Feeding Time we have seen here. Feeding Time on the Spider just to get hit in with Torgoff.
Yeah, the Torgoff does find a Time Sigil, although you had Praxis Stranger as a double time source already. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty aggressive, but you are at 17 health. You've got some health to work with. But yeah, wow. Feeding Time on a Dire Fang Spider. Don't see that every day.
I mean, he's most likely has studied the deck list, so he knows there's not that much flying presence he has to fear, apart from a Champion of Wisdom, which will take quite some work to get flying anyway. So he might be fine just using his Feeding Time on the Spider here, since his cards in hand are most likely going to be good enough to stall out ground and air.
Here we go. Clarity activates the Storyteller again. And looks like he's got some decisions to make here. Scaly Gruon goes away, not helping out with the beatdown play. Another power comes out. So yeah, I think you might be onto something. Oh, all right. Recurring Nightmare is also a pretty good reason to hold on to some power, because it takes up 3 of your power every turn. And now Nominal's on a really hard clock. But Terry Hatchling is a pretty good response, especially with a Nesting Avisaur in hand to put them back on top if you so want to. It means you'll get cut off of power for a while, but you might be all right with that. All right, maybe we're not going to see Nesting Avisaur put Hatchling on top.
I don't know. Interesting one. I could have seen here the Aviasaur swinging with the Torgoff, draw the Hatchlings again, and then just discard your 3-power Hatchling, play another Hatchling, make really sure the air is stalled. Because that can be dangerous here. If Clarity can get one more hit in with the Recurring Nightmare, then back it up with the Removal spell to put another hit in, that could be the end of the game here.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Clarity still has that Snowball too. So I think if we're playing for the try and stay alive game, yeah, this pillar might not be showing up anytime soon, but you would have been able to play Avisaur, get that Hatchling, get the Hatchling down, and really have good defenses. The next turn, you could shore up the ground even more with Terrazon, or it looks like Cobalt Acolyte and Praxis Stranger could have been an option. Now I think if you're Nominal, you might have to discard this Pillar of Amar.
He might. I can see maybe discarding a Hatchling. The Hatchlings might be more crucial to his long-term game plan, though. Maybe he just wants to get rid of the Cobalt Acolyte, although the Cobalt Acolyte, I think, is better than a Hatchling with his current hand.
You need to keep a good number of flyers to get in the way of this Recurring Nightmare if Clarity's backing it up with the right stuff. And yeah, there we see the Pillar of Amar goes. So now Nominal's got a good ground cover, but he's going to be facing at least a Recurring Nightmare. And if Clarity has even more power, this Borderlands Waykeeper can take to the skies as well. Yeah,
if Clarity can get in for 4 here, that could be really dicey. If that card he is working towards with his power is the Inspire Obedience, if he gets to 7 now, can punch in 4, then Nominal needs to find the power for 2 units. And even then, with the Snowball in hand, can be tricky.
Yep. So
There
there's
it is.
power number 7 and time influence, but Clarity opts to not ultimate the Borderlands Wavekeeper, instead has a Xenon Guardian to play.
Oh, interesting. I'm not quite sure I like it though. Since he would have put him down to 8, means he would have had lethal in the air next turn. No, not quite. Not quite.
Yeah, it shuts down the Torgov attack, but now Torgov looks like it's going to take to the skies with the fly with the Cobalt Acolyte here. Nominal being really aggressive for a spot where I think he maybe should be on the back foot. You might not even have a follow-up here.
Oh, that is rough. That is a dangerous spot to be in. Like the 4-3 is looking dangerous. He can put... Yeah, I mean, he most likely will still not die.
Yeah, well, I would say I would have played this game a bit more defensively if I was Nominal, but he's going with this aggressive strategy. We'll see if it works out. Right now, that top deck, Wivark's a really nice card to have. It does eat up the Waykeeper, and this Recurring Nightmare can get blocked by Torgov next turn, so it might end up working out. But I could see this ending up being a game where Nominal dies with 3 or 4 cards still left in hand.
Yeah, his hand is very clunky. Like, he has a ton of 5 drops. Even Hatchlings are a clunky card. They're more like 6 drop, really. Mm-hmm. So it's going to take at least 3 or 4 turns to empty his hand here. Even more than that, most likely. So Clarity has in hand. We don't see his hand, but we know he has a Recurring Nightmare, a Snowball, and 1 unknown card here. And his Recurring Nightmare is currently at 4 power, right?
Yeah, right now it's got 4 attack, so it could go up to 8 potentially, and then he's got the option of activating Waykeeper. And if he has an 8th power, he's got the option of activating Xenon Guardian. So Clarity's got a whole lot of power sinks all over the place. This is exactly where you want to be in sealed, but you've got to make the right choices. Nominal's been aggressive, and maybe Clarity's starting to think, like, how is he planning on finishing this game? I thought I'm the beatdown. Why is this Torgov in the sky hitting me? How am I at 10 health, and so is my opponent? And that is sometimes the benefit of getting aggressive and sticking to a style.
So is there any benefit for him to push with the Waykeeper here? I don't think there is. The Waykeeper alone is not providing lethal, and the Recurring Nightmare is good enough. So he just needs to have a way to next turn push through the Recurring Nightmare to win this game.
Yeah, I suppose the argument to push with Waykeeper there is a Recurring Nightmare would take him to 4. Next turn, Recurring Nightmare is presenting lethal anyway, so it has to be blocked. So Waykeeper would take him to 2, and then Waykeeper is also lethal moving forward. So if you're thinking a few turns ahead, but Clarity did not opt to have the Waykeeper go up in the air or get aggressive, and looks like he's really thinking about what else to do here. We know he's got a Nightmare, we know he's got a Snowball. There's just one mystery card in hand, and I guess this is a sort of debate for him right now.
Yeah, also if he had chosen to ultimate his Waykeeper like in the turn he played his Xenon Guardian, he would have pushed 4 damage in total with it now, putting Clarity down to 2, presenting 2 lethal threats in the air. Interested to see what he has in hand here, though. Oh, he's hovering over the Torgov. Maybe it's a removal spell?
It's a Snowball on the Acolyte. Predator's Instinct.
On 2-1?
All right.
Okay.
So he was concerned about some sort of crackback damage, I guess, because he chose to take out essentially 4 extra attack that could come back in, but he also gave up a blocker in Cyclops. His opponent's down to 3. Nominal has perfect information here. It's a Recurring Nightmare in Clarity's hand.
I'm not quite sure I like that. He had 2 blockers, even if a Crystallize came down, he had 2 blocking units back, so he wouldn't have died to Crystallize either. I'm curious about this one.
Crystallize was maybe the concern, but you're right. He has a unit with Endurance. He has a unit with Aegis. So that shouldn't have been too large of a concern, but especially because he would have had the Recurring Nightmare to swing back, because there's no way Nominal could cast Crystallize and a unit.
Yeah. Yeah, even if the Crystallize came down, Nominal would be hard-pressed to press the damage here. Also, now that he spent his Predator's Instinct, that was one of his best ways to cheaply squeeze in a removal and play the Recurring Nightmare in 1 turn to maybe find that the finish, go over the finish line there.
Yeah, so this kind of circles back to what we were talking about as far as Nominal's choosing to stay aggressive makes Clarity think he's got reasons that the game is about to end, and maybe made him take some, at least from our perspective, suboptimal lines here, where really we think Clarity's the one that should be aggressive, but Nominal's making him reconsider all these moves.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hindsight thing, but the Zenith Guardian has not influenced the board state whatsoever, right? He spent 4 power to develop this unit, and he hasn't done anything with it.
Yeah. Again, that I think goes back to the thing we were talking about with Crystallize of he wanted this endurance unit that can block.
Yeah,
now,
that's a good point.
Yeah, Torgov comes in for 4. Clarity goes down to 6. Nominal can play 2/2/1 flyers here. Has a blocker for Recurring Nightmare. This Borderlands Wakekeeper can take to the skies, but it's not going to pressure lethal like we were saying it could have if it had gone into the air sooner. And yeah, Nominal is not in bad shape here considering how this game started out and how clunky his hand was.
No, unless Clarity rips. I don't know what he can find here. Does he have Plague in his deck? I don't think he does. I don't think he has a way to push through here, to push the last points of damage.
Let's see, because he has a 4/3 with Overwhelm, so Nominals can still let some of the damage from that go through. He's at 3. I mean, yeah, he's got 2 hatchlings. One can block the Nightmare. He's got plenty of chump blockers for the non-overwhelming units. He just has to put 2 health in front of that one. This looks bad for Clarity. He might have to play Recurring Nightmare as a defensive play here, but
I mean, he doesn't know it, but he's still dead then. Dead indeed. Yeah. So I don't think Clarity has something to get out of this, unless he has a Rapid Shot. Rapid Shot is in his deck, and the Rapid Shot on the Overwhelm unit might be his saving grace here.
Yeah, so that would require, if he doesn't have it right now, he'd have to give up a blocker by using Blind Storyteller, dig for that. So we'll see. All right, the 2/3. Yep, Wakekeeper is now in the sky, and we see the A space come out. Clarity is tapped out. Nominal has perfect information right now, except for 1 mystery card in Clarity's hand, but if it's power, it's power.
I like this play, though, that forces Nominal to jump with the hatchling. I really like it because he takes 1 point of overwhelm damage on the ground.
No, he doesn't, though, right? Because look at this block. Nominal's got 4 health in front of the Jotun Cyclops.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, crackback.
All right, yeah. The way he blocked it, I misjudged the block there. All right, well played. Well played by Nominal. The continued aggression might have spread some doubt in Clarity there. That he was not the beatdown that he thought he was.
Yeah, he was the beatdown that he thought he should have been, but then questioned it. Right? Oh man, that was really great. When you have so many choices on both ends that we saw there, it's all about what mindset are you in, what's the game plan you're sticking to. And we saw Nominal shift from that, right? He discarded his Pillar of Amar, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to give my Torgov flying and just attack with it literally every turn. This snowball is a headache. I can't block his 4/3 anyways. Let's turn this match on its head, and that's what he did. Yeah.
I think if I would have in Nominal position there, I would have taken vastly different decisions, and maybe I would have gotten overrun. I think Nominal played that really well, and a very surprising twist on the whole. Put a surprising twist on the game there by just suddenly switching gears and putting the pressure on Clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree that it was maybe not the most conventional approach to that situation, and it ended up working out quite well. I mean, as well as having exactly 1 health at the end of a game can go, but when you're committing to the race, that's what you want to see. Your opponent at 0 and you at 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and once again, 1 single decision could have mattered there big time. If Clarity decided to ultimate his Wakekeeper earlier and start swinging with it. He also missed. He also, at 1 turn, he did not attack with his Wakekeeper. And into the 2-1 because he just wanted to keep the Wavekeeper back to not trade 1 for 2 damage, but that was also a source of missed damage. And as it turns out, that 1 point of damage really mattered there in the end.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, another thing that may have influenced that game is not what either player had in hand, but what they had in deck, right? I don't think it's unreasonable for us to say that Clarity was playing with Crystallize in mind.
Yeah,
even though
definitely.
Nominal did not have it in hand, he kind of was playing like he did.
It's really bad feeling, right? To play against a deck that you know has Crystallized. It feels terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Nominal having so many cards in hand that he didn't play yet. It was reasonable to believe that one of them could have been Crystallized, for example. It's a scary place to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. So here we are in game 2. Nominal is up a game. Clarity's got that patented turn 1 Direfang Spider, and it's staring down a Scaly Gruon. Nominal's got some good cards in hand, but can't cast them right now. Just going to go with the Camel, which I don't know if that was main deck or out of the board. But
oh no, he is playing as a true draft chalice player or limited chalice player. He included the Camel.
I enjoy a Camel Chalice deck now and again.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that is trouble though. That even if the Camel provides you with some form of healing, I don't think it's good enough to out-heal the shiny Impending Doom.
Yeah, Nominal doesn't have an answer to that and is stuck on power. Maybe if he was curving out, he may have been able to race it with some Twin Brood Sauropods or something, but instead he's getting a little bit of life gain from Camel, but Clarity's getting a lot of damage from Impending Doom. But no follow-up from Clarity there. Just a seek power, nothing. So that means at least Nominal's not facing down more pressure, but in the meantime, all he sees for the draw step is a Huru Stranger, really hoping to find power to at least get some counter pressure and bigger bodies on the board.
Yeah, he needed to find the power there. Ultimate his Wakekeeper, then next turn maybe Jump Block and Lightning Strike the Impending Doom out of the way. Given his hand, I think once he solves this Impending Doom problem, he's in a decent spot.
Yep, but here we go. Clarity found some follow-up pressure, but Nominal gets an execute, but
he has no shadow.
Yeah, no shadow influence.
So
Nominal has 3 influence in time, justice, and primal for access, and has a shadow and fire card in hand.
Yeah, that's really tough. If of all 7 cards in hand, 2 of those are playable. Just from an influence standpoint, 1 is actually playable, and the rest is uncastable, either due to power or influence requirements.
Yeah, rough spot for Nominal here. It's starting to look like we're gonna have a game 3, but maybe he can pull out a miracle if he finds that shadow source. The execute taking down the Impending Doom clock with Camel could go a long way, but it's a Skycrab Wivark as the draw.
Yeah, so rough. He needed to rip the power now. And the 2-3 is not a big deal. It basically, as long as the Camel is on board, it deals 1 point of damage to you. So that's a really slow clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially because if you draw a shadow source and have execute, that also means you get to activate your Wakekeeper, and then they start bouncing off each other, because Clarity has not followed up this huge initial pressure that much. It's just been power for most of these turns.
Yeah, he's displaying a fast spell, though, for a couple of turns now. And there we go. And it's not lethal on its own, so he has more. Like an execute in hand to push the last 2 on Alk Blast.
Yep, Alk Blast, that's Exacty. So Nominal dies with like 100 cards in hand, just got stuck on the power there. It happens, but now we get a game 3, so at least we got that going for us.
Oh, it's at least good for us, yeah. Yeah, rough game there for Nominal, and he's not, I don't think he's being too greedy on his power base there. Let me quickly see, that is 23, 25. He's running 30 power. Could maybe include 1 or 2 more, given that the fact that he has a Chalice, a Pillar of Amar, and a couple of expensive spells, as well as an Ember Ring and some other power outlets to make use of excess power.
Yeah, was that counting the Seek powers too?
Oh no, that's not counting this.
So he has 2 Seek Power, 2 Amber Accolade. I think he's all right.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that was just bad variance.
Yeah, it happens. So, if you're playing about 34 sources, that sounds about where I'd be happy. But here we go. Looks like game 3 is about to go underway. Nominal's got a bit more power this time around. Has a banner, a Seek Power, a couple Primal Sigils, and a Blister Sting Wasp. All right.
Well, it's not the card you want to see here if you're lacking 2 influences to play it.
Well, you get the Shadow Sigil now.
Oh, I didn't see the Praxis banner. Never mind. Okay, so yeah, he's looking fine here, influence-wise.
Yeah, it's just a question of does he want to play that out next turn and save the Kobold Acolyte, or just get the Kobold Acolyte down as a 2/1 flyer, because you also have Skywalk Instructor later to get something else flying too.
I think I would still start off with the Blister Sting Wasp here. It is somewhat iffy, since if your opponent attacks with a Dark Wisp here, do you really want to block? I think Blister Sting Wasp is such a high value 2-drop, and if your opponent uses a Blister Sting Wasp and an Alp Blast that he has shown before to kill off your Wasp, you kind of do feel terrible. So I can see the Kobold Acolyte here start putting some pressure on your opponent, and then next turn follow up with an Illuminate.
Yep, Acolyte comes out for the pressure. Nominal is accepting the damage from this Dark Wisp. Blocking Dark Wisp does become more interesting next turn, because we know Clarity has Jotun Hurler or whichever one, the one that spark and makes a snowball. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. But the pressure with Kobold Acolyte comes in anyways. The Rebel Illuminator discourages blocking for the most part, but Frostkin shuts that down.
Frostkin is beating here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Clarity Nominal.
Well, now Nominal's got a game plan. Camel, Chalice, and a bunch of Chalice targets. I think we'll see Wasp plus Camel, and then if you draw power, Chalice can come out the next turn and start going.
I mean, you could go for the Chalice now. You take your 7, you go down to 30. Then next turn you have Camel plus Chalice at the ready.
Sure.
Or is slightly power inefficient. It would be better if you, for the power, the ideal scenario here is go Camel and Wasp now, and then next turn start Chalicing. That might be the correct play. Yeah, it's slightly less greedy, and that might be right. The Camel can bounce the 1/1, the Wasp can take out the Tundra Explorer. Yeah, I like it here.
That's what we see. The bodies come out, the Kobold Acolyte goes in. So now if Nominal draws power, great. If he doesn't, that's fine. He can still either play out the Chalice or the Instructor and wait it out. He's got a Rebel Illuminator that's going to be unstunned shortly as well. So if I'm Nominal, I'm really happy with where I'm sitting, even though Clarity looks like he's got the board on this turn.
Yeah, I think Nominal is fine. I think that is his last real turn of attack here, since Rebel Illuminator is such an annoying unit to deal with on the defense.
Yep, so Wasp gets traded off for Tundra Explorer. Blind Storyteller comes down for Clarity, which will help sculpt his hand going forward, keep his curve low and the beats coming.
Yeah, but you are happy to see that as Nominal here. Clarity taking a turn off to loot while you are about to whip out the challenge here.
Yeah, this is great. I think now the question is, does Nominal buff up the Acolyte first or the Camel first? If you go Acolyte, you take it out of range of, snowballs and Alk Blasts and stuff, and you have your Wing Con assembled in addition to your Chalice going. So that's the decision here. What would you go with?
I think I like the Flyer here, since the board is pretty stored, right? You don't need the Camel to... Oh, he's even swinging. Once again.
Hey, I mean, with Camel, who needs blocking, right? You're getting 2 to 3 life a turn or something like that at this point. And you've got a Rebel Illuminator and a 4/3 Flyer. Make Clarity crack back. Who cares?
Yeah, Nominal is not a one to hold back here at all. I mean, he's in a good spot. He has 4 power in the air. He can add 3 more next turn. He has a teleport as well. Good tempo spell if you're the beatdown. And he can bounce the Wisp, so he takes like 2 per turn if you subtract the Camel here. Even 1 only, right? If you draw 2 cards per turn, you take 1 from this Frostkin here. You don't care about that at all.
Yeah, and Clarity's just activating the Blind Storyteller again, discarding a Xenon Guardian. Obviously doesn't have a time source yet. And he is staring down a whole lot of inevitability from Nominal. He's got the biggest flyer. He's got the Chalice going. He's got the life gain and Camel. But Ice Break, well, okay, well, lock down the Acolyte. You could have locked down the Camel to shut down Chalice activations, but I think Clarity's correct in identifying that not dying is pretty important as well.
Yeah, I think I like the Ice Bright here on the 4-3. Could have maybe thought about locking down the 3-1 if he had that really highly depends on what he has in hand, right? If he has a way in hand to and now he has infinite.
Speaking of inevitability,
oh boy,
Amber Ring plus Chalice means every turn you can pay 5 to get an exhausted 3/3 and draw a card. Man, I faced down Amber Ring and what was it called? The 4-0 weapon. I can't remember the name of it.
Chakra?
Yeah, Steel Fang Chakra the other day, and I thought that was rough. I think this takes the cake.
Oh, yeah.
But Nominal decides to play down the Huru Stranger here, hold up the teleport, don't show the Amber Ring just yet. He's got plenty of other things to do with his power for now.
Yeah. I think it's just a safe play. As long as he can ensure not to die here, he is going to be totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm on Clarity's side, like how are you ever beating any of this? I mean, yeah. I guess an Aerial Ace is a good start, some sort of hard to interact with flyer that you can maybe augment, but Nominal's gaining life, drawing cards, playing units every turn for the rest of the game. That's a tall order to overcome.
The Aerial Ace alone doesn't even deal damage to Nominal due to the Camel. Also, Nominal has a way to eat if he goes for the teleport on the Ice Bright mid-combat and eats the Aerial Ace. That's also going to be a beating potentially.
Yep. Basically, if you're Nominal right now, everything you have is expendable. You will throw every trade and every play you want out, and you'll also draw Crystallize, and you can end the game whenever you want.
Yeah. I think this game is all but over. He also has the Time Weaver in hand. He can throw down a Time Weaver next turn, make sure nothing fancy is going to happen over there at Clarity side, and then the Crystallize will just seal the game in short order here.
Yeah, the world is Nominal's oyster at this point. I guess you might be slightly annoyed that you didn't draw a power here, so you can't play one of your 5 drops. Instead, you have to decide between holding up Teleport or playing down Ring. But
interesting swing here.
I'm all right with that. Get in for 3 damage. Yep, Amber Ring comes down.
I can see Clarity being afraid not to block with this 1/1 here, since Torch can deal with the Ice Bright here.
Yeah, I think if I'm swinging with Rebel Illuminator there, I'm not playing Ring. Like, I think it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm swinging with Illuminator, I want to hold up Teleport just in case they try and get aggressive and go for that blowout you were talking about by teleporting the Ice Sprite, eating the Aerial Ace, or in this case, eating the Recurring Nightmare.
Yeah, that might be a problem. That's also the reason, apparently, why Clarity didn't want to give him the Torch, right? Because he had the Recurring Nightmare in hand.
Yes, Rebel Illuminator is a very nice answer to that. Now, you do know you've got a good target for Time Weaver. Turning a Recurring Nightmare to a 6-drop really hampers its ability to apply pressure, because you can't really develop the rest of your board or do anything else, especially because Clarity is on 5 power right now. So we'll see if that's what happens as the Camel crashes in with the Rebel Illuminator.
I like the attack first if he wants to go for the Time Weaver here. He has, once again, the greedy line, try to fish for power. Use the Chalice on a Stranger here. But I like the swing first. Let Clarity draw a card and then go for the Time Weaver.
Sure. So we can't see what Nominal sees, but with the quick decision, I don't think it's unreasonable to think he took out the Recurring Nightmare. The interesting thing here, though, is I think I would have been greedy and gone for the draw on Chalice as, oh my god, an Obelisk comes out.
Oh, that could be a problem.
That's big. Well, that was Clarity's draw step, because Time Weaver would have turned that into an 8-drop.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So here we go. This is how Clarity can win this game. Chalice is a hell of a card, but so is Obelisk.
I think Nominal wins, though. He can just take the damage here. He takes 5/9, goes on to 8, crystallizes next turn, and then he has 7/9. Yeah, he has exactly lethal.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just bombs on bombs, but all right, Borderlands Wakekeeper has an Aegis, but you can permafrost and crystallize, so you're still okay here to go for it. Clarity's tapped out.
Let's count again. 7, 9, 12. Yeah, he's tapped out. He is guaranteed lethal here. So
That
nominal.
is Exacxy. So we'll see if Nominal sees it. He's had an eye for the aggression and hitting his opponent's face before, and here comes the crystallize. He's figured it out.
Yeah, and that is going to be game.
Death by Camel. 0 health for Clarity. The 4/7 Camel.
To be fair, Clarity put up a hell of a fight, though. He got Nominal down to 9. When I saw this board state earlier with the Chalice running and a Camel on board, I thought this game was all but over. But I think Clarity made it reasonably close then.
Yeah, I thought Clarity's best shot at winning that game was to be like deck his opponent or something. Because, man, I don't know how you're overcoming that. But still, strong decks from both players, as we saw there. Like, we didn't think there was any way Clarity could make that into even something resembling a close game. But Obelisk almost made it something, especially with that extra Aegis unit. But yeah, I mean, Chalice, Crystallize, that's a lot of haymakers to overcome.
Yeah, like one of these cards is hard to beat. Like both of them thrown into the mix, you have a really tall order there.
Yep. So Nominal moves to 5-0. Just a few more rounds left before we cut to top 8. And all right, man, it has been a really fun tournament so far, I've got to say. Have you been having fun too?
Yeah. Oh, I am absolutely loving this. I want to see more of it. I want Direwolf to get on and provide a inbuilt client solution for these kinds of tournaments. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah. There's always people. If you like what you see, you can give us feedback. Always message us through the Discord channel. But yeah, you can also give Direwolf digital feedback. Go into the Eternal client. There's a feedback button in there. Say we want more limited options. We want sealed. We want cool tournament features. They listen. Trust me. So
because let me tell you guys, I've got a glimpse today behind the machine that is the ETS and aReNGee, and let me tell you, there is a ton of logistics involved. It is insane what these guys are pulling off here. It is absolutely insane.
Most of our Patreon donations go to blood sacrifices and other odd rituals. It takes a lot of black magic and voodoo to keep this thing running. But
you need that, yeah.
We do it because it's so much fun. It's not a money-making scheme or anything like that. We just do it because this game is great, and we want to support it, and we want players to have an outlet to play in competitive settings, but also fun settings and different settings like this. And it's a great time. So with that, we don't have any backup matches for this round, so we're going to take a quick break and get ready for round 6 action in just a few moments.